Does not seem worried at all. Are you expecting
That makes two of us.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Are you expecting an MVP caliber performance from Patrick on Sunday?
From Patrick, also known as the greatest playoff quarterback ever? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm expecting. And I see Bruce squinting his eyes, but he wants to believe.
I'm listening.
And I can let's just get right to the proof of what I just said, the greatest playoff quarterback ever, because he quite simply is. And we can show you the numbers. He's first all-time in rating, first all-time in completion percentage, first all-time in touchdowns a game, first all-time in yards per game, second all-time in double-digit comebacks, but the only person to have a winning record in the postseason in games he trailed by 10-plus points. So I will tell you, he will find a way. The greatest of all time in the history of their respective sports find a way. And do I expect it to be a lot of him running outside of the pocket and throwing across his body? I don't. But do I expect Patrick Mahomes to be able to do, and this is the part that I think the audience doesn't quite understand, to do what he has always done against this team, except for in one half of football. So this is the other piece of evidence I want to show you guys, which is, the Bengals defense has Mahomes' number. No, they do not. We can show you those numbers right now. Second half of last year's AFC Championship game, he's short-circuited. In the other 10 quarters he's played against them, he's been untouchable. Now, the Chiefs' defense hasn't stepped up. Andy Reid's made some mistakes. But the idea that, this is the matchup he didn't want, Brew, I guarantee you this is the matchup Mahomes was hoping for all year. Not just because he can do damage against them, but because it allows him to avenge his only true professional failure and his only true professional embarrassment. So when I hand you the ball right now, I would also like to hand you one of these.
Okay, you see.
Your teams have been long eliminated. The Buffalo Bills, the Green Bay Packers, they've been long eliminated.
Did you have to bring up the Packers?
I had to. You brought up the poor Cardinals on my guy Wilds yesterday. It's an olive branch. Come over to Chiefs Kingdom with me for a weekend.
No, but
you're
hold
welcome
on.
to. Come on, Brew.
It's nice.
We're talking about Patrick
branch?
Mahomes.
Yeah.
I'm the first guy out there. Everybody knows. I christened him Jordan-esque. I said he was the best we've ever seen. What do I need an olive branch
Now
for?
everybody's Jordan-esque. Jalen Hurts is Jordan-esque.
That's
Everybody's
Sirianni.
Jordan-esque.
When I say it, it's golden. But
okay.
Here's the problem, Nick. Look, MVP-like.
Yeah.
No, I don't expect. I expect them to play fine. I expect them to play well. But why would I expect an MVP-like performance when in 3 games against Lou Anarumo, the DC for the Bengals, all losses, he has not been MVP-like.
But I just showed you the numbers. Yes, he has.
First of all, I don't know that those numbers are MVP-like, but let me go over my numbers.
Ratings,
all right?
good.
This year, and this is when he's healthy, all right? Now, no bum ankle. This year he threw for 223 yards and 1 touchdown. Very pedestrian for the greatest we've ever seen. That was the second fewest amount of yards he threw for in a regular season game all year. Last year in the playoffs, he had 2 interceptions and the second half meltdown. Last year in the regular season, not bad, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns. Okay, MVP-like for Patrick Mahomes? No. So because I haven't seen him do it when he's healthy against a Bengals team that I think now is the best we've seen. I think they're better than they were last year. They're coming off arguably their most impressive game of the season. I would say it was. I think he'll be good. I think he'll be fine. I don't think we'll be focused on the ankle as much, although he won't be moving around as much. But MVP, no. I mean, that's dynamic. You're talking about 300-plus yards and 3 or 4 TDs.
I'm talking about what,
he
was the MVP of the league this year. I'm talking about that he will play this game
he
like he has
done
played
that
all
against
year.
the Bengals, though.
But again, I think the overall numbers are a little misleading because what the Bengals have done a brilliant job of is long possessions.
That's what they do.
Is limiting possessions, so he's not going to have 350 yards as often because he's not going to have as many bites at the apple. But in that first game, the Chiefs moved the ball, the game this year, moved the ball at will. And then in the fourth quarter, they had the ball twice. One time, Travis Kelce, the greatest tight end ever, fumbled the ball. And the second time, they missed a field goal. It's not as if the Bengals defense shut him down. Go ahead.
Can I ask you about Travis Kelce? Because I might take you up on that olive branch.
I didn't offer it to you.
Why? Why don't I get it?
No, you've been too anti-Chiefs and Dynasty talk all year. I would offer it to Brew because Brew is minted in Sports Illustrated, is calling him the greatest quarterback ever. You, on the other hand, have thrown a lot of arrows at the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. But you can ask me about Kelce, but the olive branch was not offered to you intentionally.
Dusty, can we see if we can get another olive branch?
Smart.
I'll offer it to myself. Travis Kelce. You know what I think, how they should try to stop him? Double team him so he doesn't score all those touchdowns like every other team refuses to do. But the Bengals limit Travis Kelce.
Wow.
59 yards versus 79 yards for everybody else. Mm-hmm. Do you think that they will be successful this year, or does Andy Reid have another trick up his sleeve?
Well, listen, what I think that everyone's talked all week about the fact that Lou Anarumo and the Bengals defense now gets to game plan for Mahomes all week knowing he's limited athletically. Mm-hmm. But so does Andy Reid. And Andy Reid has a better idea of how limited he is or isn't than the Bengals do. And I'm going to, call back to when nobody cared about the Chiefs, pre-Mahomes, when Alex Smith was there and this team was still somehow winning the AFC West every year. It was all screen game stuff. It was quick out of their hands. Alex Smith wouldn't throw the ball down the field. So I think what you're going to see is vintage Andy Reid game plan where it is a lot of screen game to catch the Bengals defense off guard, a lot of draw plays like we see with our friend Brian Westbrook to get the pass rush or keep the pass rush minimized. And so I don't know if Kelce's going to have a monster game. I know Kelce's going to hurt him in the red zone, though. He's been the best red zone threat in the league since Gronk retired. So, yeah, I think I'm confident with that.
Screen game with the Chiefs, it's vintage Andy Reid. But when Matt Patricia does it, it's ridiculous. Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo delivered some creative compliments to Joe Burrow's field vision. Take a look. Wow, bulletin board material there from the Chiefs defensive coordinator. Brew, what's on?
Him up a little.
Frank Clark called Burrow the best quarterback in the league.
Really?
Yeah, and Chris Jones called it Burrowhead. The Chiefs are leaning into anti-bulletin board material for whatever it's worth. But go ahead.
What's on the line for Burrow?
Well, look, everybody's going to talk about, if he beats Mahomes a fourth straight time, he'll be the best quarterback. Okay, we're not going to say that. Some people may.
Wild's already saying it. That's why you couldn't get the olive branch. That's why you said that. That's why you couldn't get the olive branch. I was here earlier this week.
Though.
You're like, 3 wins, not enough. I heard you say this.
Here's what I'm going to say. As great as Burrow is, he's elite, yes. He's not yet a made man. Okay, you don't know when this opportunity is coming again. I get it. The window's always open. The window's been always open for Aaron Rodgers too, right? And do you think in 2011, think about how long ago that was, more than a decade, that he thought when he won his first Super Bowl, this will be my last chance here. Dan Marino, when he went in his second year to the Super Bowl, do you think he thought, if I play 15 more years,
of course not,
I'm never getting back to another? You don't know, especially in Cincinnati, Nick.
Of course.
Where let's see if the Browns Mike Brown, the owner, decide to spend money.
Correct.
Okay, to keep this team together. We're already talking about they're going to lose T. Higgins. Look, he's great. I do expect him to be in the hunt for a decade to come. However, when you get this shot and you get this close, especially when we look at how many quarterbacks are in the AFC, you better seize the moment.
Especially when, like you said, they haven't had to pay people yet.
Right.
So, but I'm going to look at it from the other side. If he wins, then he's en route to a truly legendary career. Undeniably. 2 healthy seasons, 2 trips to the Super Bowl, and maybe a Super Bowl victory. If he wins, he will already have been to more Super Bowls than Drew Brees, than Aaron Rodgers. He will have been to the same number of Super Bowls.
I don't care.
What? You don't care?
I don't care about going to the Super Bowl and losing.
Well, I think it's all part of the story. I think it was. How many Super Bowls Tom Brady been to? Do you know? It's 10. That's part of the story. We don't just say he's won 7 rings.
10, if you're Jim Kelly.
But by the way, Jim Kelly does have a far more impressive career because he went to 4 Super Bowls. Who has the more impressive as far as winning-wise career? Jim Kelly or Dan Marino? Kelly.
Well, I do think people, though, would say Dan Marino had a better.
Well, right, but there's John Elway's story is not just that he won 2. It's that he went to 5. And the winning, and so going to those, once you get, I agree with you, if you go 0 for your career, then it doesn't matter quite as much as in the Kelly situation. But if by the way, Joe Burrow, if they go, they could win. But
you know where it matters when you're nitpicking, when you're deciding between two greats that are pretty close.
Like if you went to 6 Super Bowls and won every one.
Okay, see, this is why. It's all, this
well,
is
this is LeBron talk.
No,
I mean, this is definitely about conference championships and
Silver
just
medals.
getting to the finals. Absolutely. I mean, that's where it comes from.
But
some of it's true. There's some truth there, Nick. There is.
May I finish my point, or do you guys want to have a Michael Jordan powwow anymore? I don't know. I understand that we're not allowed to evaluate any sports by any metric other than what, if we were to switch it to basketball, what paints Jordan in the best light. But I personally think making a Super Bowl is hard and impressive. And if he wins this one, he will have been doing the same amount as Brett Favre, the same amount as Russell Wilson, the same amount as Patrick. Now, but just by getting there this week, and then we'll see if they win it. Here's the other thing, and you mentioned it, Brew. If they get there and if they win it, I think they keep T. Higgins. So there's always little butterfly effects, right? So the Bengals this offseason are going to have to make a choice, Wilds, because they're going to pay Burrow and they're going to pay Chase. And Higgins only has 1 year left on his deal. Most teams would say, okay, we can't pay him as well. We don't want to just let him walk in free agency, so let's trade him now. If you win the Super Bowl, you might say, you know what, even if we're going to lose him for nothing in a year, let's we're not going to pay him. We're just going to, keep him on the team. It's like if the Chiefs had won the Super Bowl last year, I don't think they'd trade Tyreek.
Yeah.
Even if they know they're not going to extend him long term. So I think for Burrow, there's a lot of, there would be a lot that goes along with winning this game that helps keep them better for next season along with the legacy stuff.
Remember Bruce Arians was like, let's bring everybody back.
Exactly right.
Like all 22. Then they were drinking tequila too much, probably. Hey, this is the video from Joe Burrow's dad. Joe Burrow watching a Barnstormer game with his mom. Won't be wearing that helmet on Sunday. It wouldn't fit. And it'd probably be... well, I don't think it's up to safety standards either. Nick, question here is Mahomes the only QB you'd take over Burrow? Full size, not child. Yeah.
Wilds, they called me a troll.
Okay.
They called me a hater. They called me a hot take artist.
Well, that's a little
And you know what they should have been calling me all year?
Here we go.
Mr. Consistency. Because all year long, I told you he's the second best quarterback in the league. And now, you know what everybody's coming around to? Joe Burrow, second best quarterback in the league. Of course there's no quarterback other than Mahomes I would rather have over Burrow. And I have been waiting since 10:15 this morning when I saw this in our Google Doc. I've been waiting 5 hours now to hear what Chris Broussard's going to say to this.
You think you know me. You think you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say this. And I said it before. What's written in stone, Nick, when it comes to quarterbacks?
Patrick Mahomes is the best.
Yes. The rest, 2 through 5.
No, but I want your opinion.
It's like the NBA.
I want your take.
I got my chops covering the NBA. It's fluid.
Yeah.
I've seen too much to know that year to year it kind of is fluid. If Jalen Hurts, which he has a really good chance, if he wins this Super Bowl, Nick, why can't Jalen Hurts be in that? Why wouldn't I take Jalen Hurts?
No, but right now, this moment.
If Josh Allen, I'm not out on Josh.
You know what? Josh Allen's not going to win this Super Bowl.
I know.
I can tell you that much.
People are dumping on Josh Allen and he's this, he's that. He's a wild child. He doesn't know how to play the position.
I don't think anyone
I'm sticking with Josh. Not as better than Mahomes, but I'm just saying. Josh Burrow, Jalen Hurts. It's fluid.
No, but
it's
right,
fluid.
okay.
I would take Mahomes. The rest of them,
right
I'd take
now,
any of those.
Right now, we're doing a quarterback draft.
If I could choose, okay, let me put it this way.
Mahomes.
Let me
You're
put it
on the
this way.
clock.
If I'm other than Patrick Mahomes, if I had to say which quarterback I liked in his position right now, who would I want to be? Jalen Hurts.
That's not the question. The question is this. Hold on, Wilds. We cannot move on.
I'm getting
we give
Jordan,
these opinions
Kobe,
for a
LeBron
living.
soon.
We have to. At times, we must be bolted down. You are running a team.
Like the cogent analysis.
I am running a team. I have the first draft. I have drafted Patrick Mahomes. You are on the clock. What name are you submitting?
It's fluid.
Micah Parsons.
Oh, give me a break.
I mean, I like defense. Defense wins championships.
Bro,
Give me Micah Parsons.
coming up after the
What
break.
a coward.
You argue with the
Nick Sirianni.
Am I not right?
You're not right.
Give me Micah
You're not
Parsons.
right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.